Today, in episode 5 of our Tavern Props series, I show you how I built all of these little foods and food platters. Alright, so for our supplies today, we're going to need a few paper clips. These have the plastic coating on them. A few of the plates that we built in a previous episode, as well as a couple of the bowls from a previous episode. Some hot glue. A couple of sprigs from some aquarium plant life. And a couple of little serving platters. I got these from a dollhouse dishware kit. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off making some cheese wheels. So to make our cheese wheels, we're going to use this. This is a small diameter hot glue stick, and what we're going to do is just cut off about 4 to 5 millimeters off the end. And I'm doing a kind of rolling saw-like motion to end up with something like this. Now it's got a little bit of extra bit on the end where it didn't quite cut right, so I'm just going to kind of carefully take that off. It's a lot safer to do it when it's laying on the mat like this. But right there, we've got a very simple cheese wheel. And what we can do to make kind of like a wedge of cheese is cut a simple little triangle out of it. And just like that, we've got a cheese wheel with a slice of cheese taken out of it. Alright, so now let's make some loaves of bread. So using a silicone mat or some wax paper, I'm going to just take some hot glue and dribble out a few little drops. And the trick to this is to dispense a little hot glue and kind of pull it up away from the cutting surface. And this will kind of raise the edge a little bit and give it kind of a rounded appearance. So I'm going to lay out just a couple of these. Some are round and some are kind of long, like that traditional bread loaf look. And then using the dull edge of a ruler, I'm just kind of scoring in a few hash marks to kind of be the cut lines that you see on the top of bread. So now let's make some turkey legs. So for this, we're going to use our paper clips. Now I bent this out to be kind of straight, and then using the hot glue, I just kind of dribble a little bit onto the end and giving it a moment to cool and blowing on it a little bit so that the temperature comes down a little. I'm just going to take my fingers and kind of roll the hot glue around and get it to kind of firm up and stick in position. And this will also give it a nice little bit of texture. Then cutting it with a pair of snips, sorry about the blurry camera there, we end up with one of these. Nice little tiny turkey leg. So with that done, let's go ahead and make a whole turkey. So again, using the silicone mat, I'm going to lay out a kind of rough, almost triangular teardrop shape. And once that cools for a moment, I'm going to lay a second layer on it, kind of almost in a rounded form. This is going to kind of be the turkey breast. And then while that's still warm, we can take our turkey legs and just kind of stick them into it to kind of hold everything into place. If you took a little too long, you can attach these with super glue. And then we give it a moment or two to cool, and this will come up and be a relatively simple turkey. And I'm using my finger to kind of tap in a little bit of texture, and then to kind of create that line for the turkey breast, just a quick little swipe with our straight edge of the ruler, and there we go, little turkey. Alright, let's make some soups and salads. So using the bowls from a previous episode, we're going to take some of the kind of lettuce-looking aquarium planter and chop the tips off of it. And then using a pair of tweezers, I'm going to just grab, you can't really see it in the background with the blurriness there, but I'm going to grab a piece of the sprig, dip it into some Mod Podge glue, and then put it into the bowl to kind of create a little, slowly building salad bowl. And I'm just going to repeat this process 3 or 4 times to kind of give it a relatively full bowl of salad. If you do this, always remember to kind of push everything together to make sure everything sticks to everything and the glue has a chance to set over everything. Alright, so now for our bowls of soup, I took a little bit of clear PVA glue, mixed in a little bit of an orangish paint, and a little bit of some fine grit sand, just to give a little bit of texture. So now I'm going to kind of mix that together so that the sand is fully incorporated and we have texture throughout everything. Then, using the end of a toothpick, I'm going to kind of carefully pick up a dollop of the glue and then spread it into the bowl. Once this dries, we'll have a reasonably appropriate looking bowl of soup. So now let's go ahead and get everything painted up. I gave all the foods a base coating in a camouflage tan, and then for the cheese wheels here, we're going to do a paint job with a 50-50 mix of some deep yellow and yellow ochre. This gives a reasonably appropriate kind of cheddar cheese or waxed cheese appearance. Now you can paint these kind of any color you want. You can do a white cheese, yellow cheese. You can dot it with little spots to be kind of like a pepper jack or something. You can paint it red to be a wax-coated wheel of cheese. It's really kind of up to you. Now for the bread, we're going to do a 2-to-1 mix of Naples yellow and yellow ochre. You want 2 parts Naples yellow to 1 part yellow ochre. And that gives it this kind of pale yellow, almost kind of like a raw dough appearance. Now, on its own, this isn't going to look very appropriate, but we're going to fix that in just a second. You just kind of want to give a full all-over coating. I'm not really worried about the bottom since I'm going to be gluing these down once everything is done. So now to give it that baked loaf appearance, we're going to use Saffron Sepia from Citadel Paintworks. Now this is going to give it a little bit of a reddish tint, but it looks remarkably like freshly baked bread, and I love the effect that it had. So now let's paint up our turkey. We're going to start with some Citadel Dark Oath flesh. This is going to go over all of the areas that are going to be the meat of the turkey. And we want a fairly decent coating, but we don't want it to be really thick. We want some of that paleness of the tan to show through to kind of give some variance to the appearance of the turkey. And again, we're going to finish this up with a wash so that everything looks more like a fully baked turkey appearance. And to do that, we're going to go back to our Saffron Sepia, and this is going to give it that nice kind of roasted turkey appearance. Now I would encourage, if you do this, to go kind of heavy on the wash because it will give a really nice browned appearance of, like, you know, freshly cooked turkey. Alright, so with that done, let's make some finished platters. So we're going to start off making some dinner plates, and I've got an assortment of little foods here. We're just going to dip the bottom of them into a little bit of Mod Podge. You can use PVA glue, just kind of anything really, and we're just dipping it into the glue and then placing it onto the plate. I'm using a pair of tweezers. You don't necessarily have to, but it does make it a lot easier. And these green pieces here are another piece of aquarium plant. I'm using them kind of like vegetables. So we've got a couple of plates made, and let's do one that's just kind of a turkey leg with a platter full of vegetables, just to give a little bit of variance. You don't want these to all be the exact same. It looks pretty repetitive that way. I'm just kind of making a little bit of variance on each one. And since we've already done washes on all of these, we don't really need to add anything else. These are pretty much done as is. So now let's make a turkey platter. So taking one of the dollhouse plates, I primed it with a aluminum metallic, and this is going to give a nice kind of metal serving plate look. I glued a few of the lettuce sprigs down, and then dipping the whole bottom of the turkey into some PVA glue, just kind of sticking that on top to make sure everything solidifies and holds together, and then using some more sprigs, just kind of dip them into some glue and use them to fill empty areas. Alright, so now let's go ahead and make some fully set up tables. So to do this, I'm just taking all the assorted platters and foods that I have, coating the bottom with some PVA or Mod Podge, and just placing them onto the tables. We can do kind of anything we want with these. It's just kind of how you want them to be. This one I'm doing kind of like a serve yourself kind of plate station. So we've got some cheeses, some breads, and the whole turkey platter. This can be set off to the side of the tavern and just kind of be an extra prop. And here we're going to make some fully set up dining tables. So we're going to take a few of our little plates that we've set up, maybe a couple of the bowls of salad or something like that, and maybe a soup or two. And then we can set those down along with some of the bottles that we made early on in this series. That way we've got a nice fully set up table and everything looks like, we've got a nice dining experience for our players. And we can also do this with some cups because, you can't drink the wine without a cup. Alright, that looks pretty good. And just like that, we've got a fully set up dining table and a serving table. These are going to be really, really nice to kind of fill out a tavern setting. You can see here I've got a bunch of these already set up and ready to go. They really help to quickly set up a tavern, and this is going to make setup and teardown of these kind of settings so much easier. And with that, I think it's time for some narrative. Having accepted your quest, your party travels to the Cursed Staff Tavern to meet with the client. After about an hour, you begin to wonder if you have the right place, when the door opens to reveal the Archdruid of the Sacred Grove, as well as the High Champion of the Hunt. You begin to wonder if there's more to this quest than the guild has informed you of. Alright, that is going to be it for today. Be sure and tune in next time where I show you how I made these modular countertops for use in our tavern setting. So thank you everyone so much for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe for future content, comment in the comments section, and we will see everyone next episode.